Welcome to the BraveTalk podcast, where we interview your favorite UNC Pembroke personalities and keep you up to date on everything happening with Braves athletics. Here's your host, Dick Christie.
All right, welcome back to the BraveTalk podcast. We are lucky to be here with Malea Garrison, one of our great women's basketball players on a team that's on a historic run right now. Malea, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
So, Malea, this is actually a cool opportunity because you're getting internship hours as we do this. Talk a little bit about your progress and your degree and what you're looking to do career-wise.
So being a senior, I've decided that I want to work in sport administration. Trying to narrow that down to either starting in sales or starting in the administration office. So I think interning with you will give me a lot of insight on exactly what I want to do. So hopefully by the end of this semester and come graduation, I have a clear idea of what I want to do.
For sure, it'll teach you a lot about what not to do, but
Yes.
hopefully you can pick up on other things too. What about, tell me about your family. Where are you guys from?
I was born in High Point, North Carolina. I live with my mom and my stepdad. We live in Franklinville right now. It's right outside of Greensboro. It's about 20 minutes. It's more so on the countryside, so we have a lot of land. A lot of my teammates like to make fun of me because they say I'm really country.
When you say a lot of land, what's a lot of land?
We have 20 acres,
Wow.
but we do not have any farm animals. So we have chickens, that's all.
Well, that counts as a farm animal.
Yeah, but no horses, no cows, no goats, none of that.
So you want those? This is a public plug to your parents to get the goats and the horses?
No, I've told my mom no.
Okay.
No, because I don't want to do any other work. So I'm okay with the chickens because that's free eggs.
So are the 20 acres wooded or they're like farmable acres?
It's about half and half. So we have a good 9-10 acres of just open land. We have a really big garden. We have 2 barns, 3 chicken coops, and then everything else is woods and creek.
I bet this winter was tough with the chickens, right? Because you got to do special things to keep them
Yeah.
warm and stuff.
Yeah, over the summer, me and my stepdad actually built a really big, little chicken house. It was fun little project for me.
Okay, very cool. One thing I've always admired about you is how hard you work. I know you're working hard in your degree, but not just being a student athlete and doing all that comes with that, but you work in town. Talk about some of the multiple jobs that you've had here in Pembroke.
So y'all have probably seen me at Food Line. I've been at Food Line at this one specifically for almost 3 years, but I recently just left there and I'm now at Lowe's Hardware. So if y'all need tools or anything like that, come see me. I like Lowe's a lot more because it's more physically demanding of you, and it keeps me moving 24/7. So.
Well, you were very helpful when I walked in Lowe's, so I appreciate the knowledge.
Thank you. Hopefully you left me a review.
So we unfortunately did not get you straight out of high school, but we're glad to have you on a transfer. So talk about what brought you to Pembroke.
What brought me to Pembroke was the basketball culture. So coming from Queens University in Charlotte, a bigger city, definitely culture is just different there. So more fast-paced, more, I guess, everything was sped up. And with basketball there, it just wasn't the right fit for me. So getting in the portal in about, I think, March, I entered the portal, and Pembroke was the second school to reach out to me. I did not come on, my visit here because it was, my first option. So I had actually went on 2 or 3 visits. I went to North Georgia and then Augusta University, and then Coach Donald actually called and was like, come check out Pembroke, and I was like, okay. So I knew a few of the former players that were here, and I was like, okay, I'll go check it out. I came, I played pickup, and I just loved it. I loved how, I fit in almost immediately. The people I did know, I knew AP, who graduated last year, and then Hannah Russell, who's now my roommate. We just kind of, just vibed already. So playing pickup, hanging out with them, I was like, immediately, this is where I want to go. So I made my decision, I think, 2 or 3 days after that.
We are glad to have you. Talk a little bit about, you've won a couple of awards for your team and across the department in the weight room. Talk about what that athletic conditioning and athletic performance means to you in your sport.
That just means a lot. I mean, I'm a hard worker, but also, I enjoy the weight room a lot. So that's not hard for me to compete there. I think that goes to show what you put in is what you'll get out. And if you know me, I'm always in the weight room. I'm always working out. But also in basketball, won Practice Player of the Year last year. My teammates voted for that as well as the coaches. So I think that goes to show that if you work hard consistently, other people will see it as well. So it does pay off. I'm very excited for what the rest of the season will bring for me and my teammates. I'm very determined that we will be back to the championship. So
Okay.
we've got it.
It always means a lot when your peers, when your teammates recognize the work that you do behind closed doors. So that's cool because you won strength and conditioning student athlete for women's basketball, but then you also won, I think, female athletic performer overall. Correct?
No, that was the girl from softball, the graduate student from softball. So hopefully this year I win that. That's my
Well,
goal
you're in
this
the
year,
hunt
actually.
then.
Yeah.
See, I gave you more credit.
Yeah.
So our team's on a pretty historic run. You guys have off to a great start. Talk a little bit about the team chemistry and what this year's run's been like.
I think like having almost everyone return from last year, it's just exciting. So knowing how everyone plays, knowing that we all bond together on and off the court, we're so close that it's insane. I mean, most teams you hang out at practice, you hang out because you have to hang out, but we hang out because we want to be around each other. So like team bonding wise, cookouts, we go bowling all the time. Just hanging out because we enjoy each other. So that makes it easier for us to play together, knowing that, I'm going to see y'all at practice, but also I can go to lunch with y'all. And we don't really argue. We don't have any drama. So I enjoy that a lot.
That's big.
That is big. And then
drives up trust, drives up communication.
it does. So going into the second half, almost the end of the season, I think, everyone's on the same page. We want to win. So I'm excited.
Awesome. What's maybe some of the differences in approach between Coach Haskins and Coach Eaton? A lot of success under Coach Haskins when you got here, and obviously we're fortunate to be continuing that under Coach Eaton's leadership.
Yes. Coach Haskins, he was a yeller. Coach Eaton will tell you she is not a yeller. So she won't yell at us, but we know what she wants, and she has a different way of demanding that from us. So I think we definitely run a lot more with Coach Eaton than we did with Coach Haskins, just because, I'm not going to say our leash is short, but we know that the error for mistake is we can't really make that many mistakes, or we're going to be running. So I think we all know what we need to do, but the approach to how we can get it done is a little different.
Gotcha. Very cool. So across the landscape of women's basketball, what's some things that the fans need to know about, maybe at the professional level? What's going on in women's basketball?
So one thing I have been keeping up with and enjoying watching is Unrivaled.
Mm-hmm.
It's a league for the off season for the WNBA. Consists of 36 players, 6 teams, and it's hosted in Miami, Florida. So
All the games happen in Miami.
yes, in one arena. All the teams are staying in one area. So it's kind of, I think that's a little weird to see, your rival team stay next door from you at the hotel, but that's how it's working. So it's doing pretty good. Some big names that are playing in it right now. You got Kate Martin, Angel Reese, Brianna Stewart. She actually is one of the co-founders. So
the 36 have to be invited. Is that how they went under contract for that?
Yes, so they get invited. One big name that turned it down was Caitlin Clark. They offered her $1 million to play. She said no.
Okay.
Kind of caused a little controversy here on Twitter, but I mean, I respect her decision. She wanted a break, so she doesn't really need to play in this 8-week tournament because she's making a lot more money with endorsements.
Yeah. Well, you figure she played 40 games at Iowa the last 2 years and then jumped right into the WNBA season. So
Yeah.
I'm sure she's had a lot on her legs for sure. She also is probably in a different financial position than some of those student athletes with her endorsement. What do you think about Caitlin Clark and what she's done for women's basketball?
I think she's definitely that's why people watch now, because she made it exciting. We actually, last year's team, Coach Haskins and Coach Donald took us to the Spectrum Center in Charlotte, and we got to watch Caitlin Clark play Virginia Tech, which was a phenomenal game. Never in my life did I think I would be seeing Caitlin Clark play basketball, but that was super cool.
Mm-hmm.
So watching her at the college level, she done a lot, and a lot of people
How
thought...
many did she score that night?
I think she had about 41 or 43. Yeah, so that was pretty cool. But what she did in college, a lot of people thought wouldn't, like, transfer over to the professional level, which, I mean, I can understand why, but, like, she's still cooking in the WNBA, so not as much.
She sees the floor so well.
She does, and her ability to get her shot off when she wants. Although she's not as consistent as she was in college, but give or take another 1 or 2 years, she'll be there.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, the talent level obviously around her is elevated, so it makes it tougher to get that
definitely.
separation, for sure. What about what's your favorite sport outside of basketball?
Outside of basketball, I would say softball.
Softball.
I
Play in high school?
Played my senior year, yeah. Played center field.
Okay. It's good timing because you guys wrap up just about the time you can go
Yeah.
enjoy some warm weather in Pembroke and watch our team.
Yep.
Have you seen the progress? What do you think about the outdoor complex they're working on out there?
I was actually over there the other day. It's looking really good. I'm excited. I've been to a few games in the past, and I think with the seating and just overall the improvement, we're going to draw in a lot of fans this semester.
Yeah, we always had a good crowd at softball, but we were just inadequate with the number of seats, so it's going to be cool to see them be able to draw larger crowds and have nicer chairback seats and things. The indoor hitting facilities for both teams are going to go a long way as well.
Definitely.
Actually going to help all of our teams because, January, February, when the weather's bad, a lot of times baseball and softball would end up coming into our auxiliary gym, and then that affects what other teams are trying to do. So them being able to keep all of their preparation at their facility is actually going to help all of our teams, which is pretty neat.
I agree. I'm excited. I'm excited to see how Pembroke continues to grow.
So one of the things that has grown a lot in college athletics here recently, NIL. As a Division II athlete, tell me what your thoughts are in seeing what's going on all around the country.
I think it's going to get crazy. I think the way that college sports used to be, people came to a school mainly because of the sport. But now I think people are starting to money chase. So it's all about what they can get, not necessarily what this program or this school can do for them. But they're just looking to chase the money. And like with Colorado, the football players, Sanders, I think that's their name, just getting so much money just to play football and then potentially making it to the NFL, like, that's insane to me how much money you can make in college just playing a sport. So I personally will never get to see that for myself, but I know in the future maybe like college sports will become like what the NBA is, guaranteed contracts, and people might not care.
There's definitely a limit to that, right? Because you get to a certain level where that's just not sustainable. You've got a good head on your shoulders, so you see that there's a difference. But how do you think it affects like other mid-major D1 and Division II athletes, who see that stuff but maybe don't realize like that's a fantasy world?
Yeah, it's definitely gonna be like a wake-up call one day. They're gonna go to a school, I feel like, and think it's peaches and cream, and they get there and it's not what they want, but then you've signed your scholarship or whatever it may be, and you're stuck there. So I guess they're just going to have to live with the decision they make and figure out what's next when time comes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's my big concern in the big picture is just if you take your eyes off of the educational piece that's available to you. So many student athletes. They have the right to transfer, and now that you can transfer and play right away, that looks really attractive on the athletic side. But if you're a sport management major at Queens, sport management at Queens might be in the business school.
Yeah.
Whereas sport management here is in kinesiology. So even though you don't change majors, you may end up another semester or a year behind on graduation just from moving to that new school. And I don't think students fully understand those nuances when they start bouncing around. So now if you multiply that over 4 or 5 years of eligibility, you've got a bunch of students taking a lot of classes and not getting closer to graduation, which is pretty sad.
It is, yeah. It definitely is, and that also happened to me when I came here. I think I lost about 22 credits, so they put me back a whole semester. So shout out to summer classes. I'm all caught up, and I'm graduating on time, so thank you.
Good for you. Yeah, I wish more student athletes could do that. I think as the transfer portal continues to spiral, there'll be more and more that maybe can't catch up. But the thing's always fascinating me with NIL. You know, we have so many students that are investing time trying to be an influencer, or trying to represent a brand, or trying to do these things, you know, using their social. And you know, to be an effective influencer, like the data, you know, you got to spend about 3.5 hours a day.
Oh, yeah.
To cultivate your brand and have a good social presence. And you know, in the end, the average dollars that are coming in for mid-major D1 and Division II is like $40 a month. That's a lot of time invested. You know, when
It is.
On the other side, you've got 40 or 50 years of data that says if you graduate with an undergrad degree, that's going to be worth $1 million to you over the course of your life. And I just think we've gotten people way out of whack with where the money actually is. You know, if you'd focus on the degree for these 4 years, focus on enjoying your athletic experience, that's going to be exponentially better. Like you talked about, the relationship with your teammates. You know, that doesn't happen overnight.
Yeah.
And it takes, you know, if you're hopping teams every year, your chance to have that depth of relationship really falls out.
I agree.
So what else haven't we talked about? You guys have Barton tonight. You got Emmanuel on Saturday. 2 huge games. Talk about the run down the stretch here.
So these next few games are crucial for us. Belmont Abbey actually just lost to Chowan, so that gave us a little bit of excitement. We were very happy to hear that. So hopefully we can keep winning out, and then come tournament time we get good seeding. And I think we all actually want to meet Belmont Abbey again in the championship. If we meet them there, this will be our 3rd year straight playing them.
Mm-hmm.
So just having that feeling going in that, you know, keep winning, just keep winning. That's all we need to do. Keep getting better. And
That number 10 for Belmont Abbey, she's tough.
she is, yes. I think Belmont Abbey has a good solid system. I'm not going to say that they're the best, but what works for them. So hopefully, you know, what works for us keeps working for us too.
Well, it makes sense. They got one of the best athletic directors in the country, so there's no reason or no doubt that why their teams are successful. They actually lost a couple of years ago. They lost their men's basketball coach and their women's basketball coach in the same year, and then so you know, doing hires like that is challenging. And then the next year they went to the postseason in both sports.
Oh wow!
So just pretty impressive. So
Yeah,
shout out
yes.
to Stephen Miss if he's listening to the podcast. What else, Malea? What have we missed? What questions do you have for me?
No questions really. Just if y'all are in town on February 22nd, senior night, so come support us. We have 6 graduating seniors. We would love the support.
That's a good shout out. We got a bunch of good promotions coming up. Alumni Day this Saturday. We have Tribe Night coming up in mid-February. Going to be an awesome partnership with the Lumbee Tribe. Stay tuned for some unique apparel items tied to that game, and then obviously senior night. So appreciate you joining us, Malea. Thanks so much.
Thank you for having me.